Build up to Black Friday with savings all month long at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select major appliances, plus take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to pick up holiday inflatables under $20. Don't wait to save, in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Real Life, Real Crime Daily for Wednesday, May 17th, and I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Tiffany Seacard.
Are you sure? Are you?
You didn't sound too sure about that, Tiffany.
She is Tiffany Seacard, and I'm Mike Agovino, and the 17 is my lucky number.
Yeah?
I mean,
17 was
17
a great
is my
age.
lucky number, and I wore my lucky shirt today for Woody, which is, we'll have to get a picture. I've got both Yasmin and Pam on my shirt from their Baywatch days, which I thought Jim would be more excited about this as well. But,
well, I'm sitting across from you just for that
which
reason.
means
so
you get to look at them the entire
Yasmin, the whole
episode.
episode.
So you should be
right.
pretty excited about that. Our
I am
partner
indeed.
in crime and crime reporting had a family issue he had to see to this morning, but he will be back with us for Thursday's show, no fear.
That's right, but Tiffany's going to fill in quite lovely.
I hope
today.
so.
Write in that you like her a lot better than Woody, regardless. I'm sure you will. And we can F with Woody a little bit.
All right, so we're going to get right into the crime news for today, and we're going to start off with an update on the Denham Springs officer that was shot in a violent shootout at a shopping center in Denham Springs, Louisiana. I brought you a real quick pickup for those of you that got it, and that's another long story on Friday. But we're going to give you a little history on that for those that may not be familiar. A police officer was critically wounded and a suspect was killed in a violent confrontation at a Livingston Parish shopping center last Thursday afternoon. The shooting took place around 4:20 p.m. on South Range Avenue, which is just north of the interstate in Denham Springs. For those of you not familiar with that area, it is a major, highly trafficked thoroughfare in kind of the heart of Livingston Parish. The incident prompted law enforcement from several agencies, including local, state, and federal, to swarm a strip mall and a secondary scene on U.S. Highway 190, which is also highly trafficked in this area. Now, officers were initially called to the parking lot due to a reported disturbance involving a man and a woman arguing. It's important to note these two people did not know each other. Denham Springs Police Chief Rodney Walker said the suspect, identified as 30-year-old Justin Roberts, began shooting as soon as police arrived. Officers returned fire. Walker said that Roberts tried to drive away in an SUV, continuing to shoot officers as he drove past. Denham Springs Police Department Corporal Sean Kelly was hit multiple times in the shootout, and he remains in critical condition due to his injuries. Video circulating on social media showed the moments after the shooting where three officers are seen huddled over the injured officer and performing chest compressions on him next to the Denham Springs police vehicle. Livingston Parish Sheriff Jason Ard said a deputy stopped Roberts near Eugene Street, which is right by U.S. Highway 190, before shooting him when he approached the deputy with a gun. Roberts was taken to a hospital and later died. Now, there were some blood drives organized in East Baton Rouge Parish on Friday after the shooting and on Monday in Livingston Parish, as police were attempting to establish a timeline of when this guy went off the rails. A Denham Springs teen came forward with some disturbing information regarding a run-in she had just prior to the shooting with Roberts. Charlie Scott was enjoying her last days of high school, grabbing something to eat before heading home, and on her drive home around 3:30, she said something unusual happened. This is when the road rage started. He kept following me. Then I noticed him in my driveway. He was middle-aged, dark hair, thick, and his hair was long.
And that's the video that's been all over the place online, right? Him following her all the way up her driveway.
That's correct. Later that evening, she actually saw on television what she believed and has pretty much been confirmed at this time that is the same vehicle that followed her wrapped in police tape. So we're going to post the actual surveillance video from her house for those that may not have seen it. You may be from another area of the country, and you can kind of check out this disturbing scene. But I will tell you, I know these people personally, and you know, God was with her that day because this guy was looking for trouble. And when you pull in someone's driveway after following them for miles, letting them pass you, following, thank God that young teen was smart enough to pull into her garage and shut that garage door.
Was anyone home when she got home?
I don't know.
I didn't see anything.
I can't confirm that. I haven't confirmed that yet. There was another car. It looked like, under the carport when she pulled in.
Yeah.
Whether that was her mother, I'm not sure of. But
because that could potentially be the smartest thing, or it could have potentially been the dumbest thing if nobody was home and she had led them right to her house, and this guy was of a mindset to come into the house. I mean, drive to the police station. Drive.
Yeah.
Well, the hindsight, yeah.
Yeah. But. Look, she got away.
Yeah,
I mean, she didn't know what she was.
girl.
She obviously didn't know what she was trying to escape from because she had no idea, obviously, of what this person was capable of and what they would do next. So,
yeah, and Corporal Kelly remains, as I said, in critical condition at this time. They are organizing things daily for him. They have blood drives that have been going pretty steady. If you're interested in maybe donating monetarily, you can contact the Denham Springs Police Department, and they can lead you in the direction. Corporal Kelly has a beautiful family, and I'm sure they would appreciate any support, even if it's just verbally, with prayers. For this incident, just a horrible situation anytime an officer is shot in the line of duty.
Absolutely. Let's go back to, I've got a couple of updates for you, one of which involves a member of the All Woody team, so we'll do that one second. Last week, we spent a good deal of time on this prison break that happened in Philadelphia from the Philadelphia Industrial Correctional Center, where the blame game was going on and a bunch of people were pointing to loss of staff and lack of resources and things like that. But we have come to find out that there were some helpers that were behind these two guys. Their names, again, Nasir Grant, who's 24, and Amin Hurst, who is 18. The good news is Nasir Grant has been apprehended. The bad news is Nasir was the one that was in jail for drug and gun charges, but he was not the murderer that Amin Hurst is, who was charged with 4 different homicides in 3 different incidents between 2020 and 2021. 3 separate people have been arrested in connection with their escape. One is a 21-year-old man named Michael Abrams, who was arrested on Monday on charges related to the escape. The officials have not disclosed exactly how Abrams assisted, but we have learned that both the door to their cell as well as the door to an outside workout area were left open, and all Grant and Hurst had to do was cut their way through a perimeter fence in order to get free. So they had some help on the inside. We believe that's Abrams based upon what the police are saying here. The 2 other folks are a Ziani Stalling, a 21-year-old woman, and Jose Flores Huerta, a 35-year-old man, who have also been charged Stalling is believed to have coordinated a pickup for the escapees, and Jose Flores Huerta was the mule, if you will, that took them away from the prison. So they did not, whatever their trip was on foot, it was a short one, and they were given a ride from there. Obviously, the danger is that Amin Hurst is still out there and is a very dangerous human being, and everyone should in that area, and they do believe he's still in that area, should be on the alert. The second update is about our gal, Taylor Schabusiness.
Woo! Schabusiness.
Taylor's latest lawyer made an appeal to have her $2 million bond lowered. The judge denied the request to lower Schabusiness's $2 million bond. The decision as to whether she will undergo another competency exam was postponed, and another hearing was scheduled to determine whether statements she made will be admitted at trial. So if you remember, right after she was arrested, she made some kind of crazy statements about where she had left body parts and who she had left them for, and certain things like that. So just to recap, because we've got a number of newcomers who probably wonder why we talk about Schabusiness so much on this show, and
Mike's girlfriend,
why she became such folklore on the show. She's 25 years old now. She's charged with first-degree intentional homicide, with mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. This is all based upon an attack she made on a gentleman by the name of Shad Therion last year. Shad is obviously no longer with us. He was absent basically all of his digits, his head, his penis, and other body parts by the time Schabusiness was through with him, allegedly. She has pleaded not guilty and not guilty by reason of mental illness or defect. She is scheduled to stand trial beginning July 21st. The sort of intervening issue is whether anyone will make a ruling on her mental capabilities before then. And there's really two considerations. There's the, are you in a position where you are capable of understanding the process of a trial and sane enough to participate in a trial? And there's a second consideration, which is at the time of the committing the crimes, were you insane for some other reason? And obviously we know drugs played a big part in what happened. They have consistently talked about the role that meth played in the sexual exploits that day. And so kind of feel like maybe that's the direction they are trying to go in. Deputy District Attorney Caleb Saunders opposed the request, noting previous missed court appearances and that when she was arrested, Schabusiness had removed an electronic monitoring bracelet. Also, her probation was revoked by the Department of Corrections for previous offenses. If you look at the latest pictures of our girl, it's clear that she has no stylist in prison, that she's not getting any mani-pedis, and certainly not getting a lot of sun. Not good for her. And so I think that's the appeal that that her counsel should be making, that she should get a little bit of spa time. In March, Walsh had turned down Freilich, that's the new attorney's request, for a new competency exam, saying defense attorneys had not presented any evidence contrary to others who have deemed her competent to stand trial. Freilich renewed that request on Tuesday, but asked Walsh to hold off on making a decision while he continues to gather information to support his request. Meanwhile, the court still needs to make a decision on what statements Schabusiness has made to police will be allowed at trial. Some of them are considered Miranda Goodchild issues, meaning the defense will argue that she did not waive her rights to talk to police. So the question will be whether all of those things that we had so much fun with that she had said on the show back a few months ago are going to end up being admissible or not. We shall see. Seems like there's plenty of evidence to go around without those statements, but we'll see what happens. So good luck, Schabusiness. Hey, Tiffany, have you ever been in one of those big, industrial freezers at a fast food place or
Yeah, I
anything
used
like
to
that?
work at a store actually that had a door that closed, and you had to go in the freezer and ground the ground meat and package it and everything.
And did it close behind you and locked you in the freezer when you went?
It never locked. It wasn't set
Okay.
to lock. Like you set all that ahead of time, like to where it doesn't lock.
Okay, and that seems with this horrible story you're about to get into. That plays a major role in it, right?
Yeah,
We think.
I think so.
I
think so.
actually disagree with that because they have things on the inside you push and it unlocks it.
Not all of them.
It's like an emergency trunk.
But you would think a
I
chain like
guarantee
this would
you
definitely
they
have
have
something
that.
like that.
There's safety.
Well,
things on the
they
inside.
said that you could not lock a person in this particular freezer.
Yeah.
Stories.
right.
so she
unless it
shouldn't-
malfunctioned.
So a body's been found in an Arby's freezer right here in Louisiana. The person found dead Thursday night in the freezer of a New Iberia Arby's was the manager at the restaurant, police said. According to multiple reports, New Iberia police confirmed the manager was found dead under suspicious conditions Thursday evening. So in New Iberia, the woman was found inside the restaurant walk-in freezer around 6:20 p.m., was nearly frozen and very dead.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Although police are considering the death suspicious, officers on the scene said the initial investigation doesn't point to any foul play. Cops say they are investigating a suspicious death after the remains of the staff member were found in a walk-in freezer. Her cause of death has not yet been determined.
Okay, so there's no autopsy yet. So we don't know for sure that she froze to death. I mean, technically, we don't know that, right?
Technically, we don't, but I would think that if they're not suspecting foul play, there were,
I would agree
it wouldn't
I
be
agree
too
with
hard to determine whether she froze to death to me if there's no other visible signs of injury.
Right. Well, that's Thursday, and
I guess
we don't
they-
have an autopsy yet.
No,
so-
we don't.
So it's interesting, but she's the store manager. So if you're the store manager at an Arby's, you're in and out of that freezer all day long, aren't you?
I would imagine.
I would think you are. So you're very familiar with how to get out if you get in.
Yeah, it would have had to been a situation because those freezers have emergency overrides on the inside of them, much like a trunk release on a car. And I would imagine that it had to be a malfunction. Or it could have been a situation, Mike, where she, we don't know what happened to her when she got in that freezer. She could have had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And she could have passed out and then, just did not wake up in time. I suspect there was some sort of heart attack or something involved in this.
Well, you make a good point. Do we know how old she was? I didn't see anything in the
about her
stories
age.
about her age. And in my head, I just pictured an Arby's manager to be a little younger, not older, but could just as easily be.
It would have had to have been, I would imagine, after hours. Maybe everybody had left but her. She was locking up, putting something in the freezer.
6 o'clock? No?
Well, they found her at that time.
Right.
6 o'clock a.m., right?
PM.
PM.
Oh, p.m.
Yeah, PM.
Well, how the heck do you freeze in a freezer?
I know. Like
You got
what
other
times are they
employees
closed?
there. Nobody said, where's the manager?
I know.
That's
There's
crazy.
just- there's a lot of questions. But so far,
Bizarre.
what they've released is that an employee obviously discovered the female deceased inside the cooler, and the deceased is an employee of the restaurant. Captain Lester told local networks that according to the preliminary information, while the death is still suspicious, foul play is not expected, and added that the death may have been an accident.
Yeah.
God, this is a weird story.
Unless it was like a slip situation, she hit her head. But how the heck do your employees not wonder where you're at? Not that we're blaming anybody, but
No, but at some point, where's the manager? They're normally pretty omnipresent during your I don't know how big an Arby's this is, how many people were working at the time, but she had to be in there long enough to have, at least it said partially frozen. I mean, I don't know how long that would take, but that would seem like that would take a while.
Yeah.
This is this is definitely a weird
hours, I would think. Hours. I mean, if you're in the Swiss Alps, it takes you several hours to freeze to death if you got a T-shirt on. I mean,
I haven't seen those stats on the Swiss Alps, but this is a bizarre case. There's obviously coworkers there. This person obviously has experience with this freezer. Someone opens the freezer to find her, so the freezer was at least operational from going outside in. Is it that she couldn't get out, or is it that something happened to her the second she entered? Like you said, maybe she slipped and fell on ice and hit her head or something. Maybe she had a heart attack. Maybe we're talking about somebody who's elderly or has obesity issues, or somebody that was vulnerable to a heart attack, and that just so happened to be the spot. Don't know, but I just don't. This one isn't the just check the box, sad story accident. It's just
very
too
bizarre.
Weird.
Very bizarre, and so
some of those managers work 12-hour shifts too. I mean, this is 6:20. Somebody found her. We don't know how many hours she had been working that day. She just could have been mentally exhausted. Maybe sat down in there for a minute and just lost consciousness.
Take a power nap in the minus 10 degrees or whatever.
I mean, people have done worse things, sadly.
I'm going to go in the freezer and take a nap.
This is an interesting one. Well, I think we should lay bets on what I think Jim's going to end up being right, that she that something happened, probably a heart attack.
Yeah, and our hearts go out to her family and any of those who knew her and loved her, and just
it's
sad
awful.
situation.
It's
but
awful.
very curious as to what occurred.
It's awful, and I do know this is tasteless, but this is Mike. So you've come to expect it, but I do find it somewhat ironic that the fast food chain that uses the slogan, "We have the meats," added another meat to their freezer that day. Sorry. Send cards and letters.
Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through: premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. Hey y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something. and all the dishes were fire. But this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference God will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes, plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had.
Taste.
Well, speaking of meat, I'll make a meat transition.
Yes, let's do that. Let's transition.
Hero cows have come to the utter rescue. You like that, Jim?
I like it.
The utter rescue.
No pun intended either, which is amazing.
The pun was definitely fully directed. This is in North Carolina, and police have made an arrest with the help of a herd of cows. The town of Boone. I know where Boone, North Carolina is?
It's in North Carolina.
Oh, Boone is a famous place. Boone is up in the mountains and the home of Appalachian State University, which has had some of the biggest upsets.
Yes,
in
agreed. Basketball,
college sports, particularly college football. And this past year, I'm trying to remember who they beat. Did they beat Michigan again? They had beaten Michigan once. They beat somebody big, and they carried the goalposts from the stadium all the way through the town of Boone, and then threw the goalposts in this lake in the middle of campus. It was incredible to
don't get any ideas, LSU fans.
If you want to go Google the Appalachian State football team. Well, actually, Appalachian State fans steal goalposts. But anyway, back to Boone, North Carolina. The Boone Police Department said a suspect who was identified as Joshua Minton, age 34, ran away from officers during a traffic stop on Tuesday, and he led the officers and Watauga County Sheriff's Office deputies on a pursuit. He abandoned his vehicle in the Deep Gap area and ran into this underdeveloped area, basically ran into the woods. Because he was driving so fast and reckless, officers had held back and weren't too close to the car, so when he got out, they couldn't exactly tell what direction he had run in. And so they began searching the area and received some help from some unlikely friends. Apparently, this is a quote, apparently cows do not want suspected criminals loitering in their pasture and quickly assisted our officers by leading them directly to where the suspect was hiding, police said in a press release. They continued, the cows communicated with the officers as best they could and finally just had the officers follow them to the suspect's location. So apparently the cows got a little frustrated that the officers didn't seem to be taking their lead that well, and then finally they just had the officers follow them. Minton was apprehended and charged with 1 count of felony fleeing and eluding arrest. He also got charged with driving with a revoked license and disorderly conduct. He received a $20,000 secured bond and is scheduled to appear in court on June 28th. The police department thanked the cows for their assistance in finding Minton. Quote, in addition to thanking our officers and deputies for putting themselves in harm's way, obviously we want to express our gratitude to the cows for their assistance, police said. This opens up all kinds of questions as to the bovine's role in crime fighting. Honestly, it is something that we have not considered before now, said the officers. The department went on to say obvious next steps of incorporating a bovine tracking unit into its law enforcement capabilities was a factor to consider. This includes whether cows are adaptable to a variety of police work or if they are limited to finding hiding suspects. A canine officer that is affiliated with the Boone Police Department said this is a lot of bullshit and cows can do a couple of things, but canines are really where it's at in terms of police work.
I would agree.
Yes. I think that's a one-timer. But, hero cows came to the utter rescue.
They did indeed. Absolutely crazy story coming out of Minnesota. A Minnesota man has been convicted of killing his girlfriend by beheading her on a public street in Minnesota.
That'll do it.
On Thursday, Alexis Subare, 44, was found guilty of the July 2021 murder of America Thayer, who was 55. Some interesting names there. Following a court hearing on January 25th, during which he waived his right to a jury trial. Subare was found guilty of the felony count of murder in the first degree, premeditated, and he's having a review hearing scheduled on June 1st. Now, witnesses saw Thayer alive with the defendant in her Chrysler 300 sedan at about 2 p.m. in Memorial Park. Approximately 30 minutes later, multiple witnesses saw a man attacking a woman in a Chrysler 300 sedan at the intersections of Spencer and 4th Streets, roughly a mile from Memorial Park. Other witnesses then saw a man standing outside of the open passenger door, striking the victim with a hand weight. Witnesses also saw the man chopping at the front passenger seat door with a large knife and then pulled a decapitated body and severed head out of the vehicle. The convicted used a dumbbell to strike Thayer in the head and a machete to decapitate her, according to prosecutors. So in July of 2021, those police, they responded to what was called a stabbing. Thayer was later discovered with stab wounds and pronounced dead at the scene on a sidewalk in Minnesota. Officers quickly apprehended 42-year-old Alexis Subare on suspicion of second-degree murder at that time.
It's in broad daylight with people just didn't care.
Yes.
What is going on in people's minds?
I want to talk about something that I had no idea was happening, that nobody told me about, that I happened to just stumble upon because I was digging through so many potential news stories on things that were going on over the last few days. And you guys probably aren't aware of this either, but I guess this happens annually. But hundreds of law enforcement officers and their families who lost loved ones in the line of duty over the past year gathered Saturday at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. to honor those in uniform that had made the ultimate sacrifice. I guess they're there to honor the fallen from that year, but many others come who just want to support the event. The event was actually the 35th annual Candlelight Vigil. It's just one of several events planned for National Police Week. Did you know it was National Police Week? Oh, good for Jim. I did not know it was National Police Week, and I, again, have seen nothing that in any of the television I've watched or anything else online I've done commemorating National Police Week. To me, it's a little bit ironic that they hold it in Washington, D.C., because I know of very few locations that appreciate the police less than Washington, D.C. But this year, the names of 556 U.S. law enforcement officers that have died in the line of duty have been added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. So 556, so more than one a day, like 1.5 a day. The total number of names now on that list is nearly 24,000 fallen officers. The U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland spoke at the event. He did the roll call, so they announced the names of each of the fallen officers. Outgoing Washington, D.C. Police Chief Robert Conti was among the special guests that honored the fellow officers, and everybody's favorite, Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, chimed in with, when a law enforcement officer steps out to protect a community, the family steps out with them. Thank you, Alejandro. The National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund CEO, Marcia Ferranto, says the candlelight vigil is a reminder to families across the country that they are not alone and that they mourn the loss of their family members. Families take comfort in that. They know that their loss is one that we are committed to make sure that the sacrifice is never forgotten.
Amen. And I'll tell you, I've actually got had the pleasure of hearing kind of several reports from what's going on right now down there. Nick Touye was one of the officers who was killed in the line of duty that were honored this week. He's one of those 556. And his family is in Washington D.C. right now for that event. And I'm with you, Mike. I think everybody should be covering that. Of course, we pride ourselves in bringing you stuff that maybe other news outlets won't bring you, and commentary shows won't bring you, and this is one of them. So we're going to make sure that those guys and gals that were lost in the line of duty get their due respect on our show.
Thank you for your service.
Amen. Oh, there it is, Mike. Tiffany, you get the pleasure.
Now, which one of you is brave enough
I'm taking
try
this
and do a Woody kinky
I'm taking this
story?
A Florida woman performing oral sex on a driver nearly bites his penis off when they get into a head-on collision with a FedEx van. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there's a word for that when you a highway delight or something.
What's that?
Given road head.
Yeah, well,
They call it a whole other meaning.
yeah, I thought there was a highway delight, or
I thought
Tiffany
you meant,
says just giving road head.
I thought you meant a specific name for when it gets bit off in an accident.
Oh, well, that's a Lorena Bobbitt or something. I don't know what you call that.
God,
But let me tell you the story. Yeah. 2 people inside an SUV were discovered naked after a crash between the vehicle and a FedEx truck on Sunday evening. And it's what's going on inside that may have caused the collision. That's right, Michael. They were naked. Whether they got in there naked, I don't know. They may have pulled each other's clothes off as they were in there.
Wait, was their car moving?
Yeah, it was moving. They got in a wreck.
They're moving. Okay.
So at the time of the crash.
So I doubt they were just robing while driving.
Right.
Maybe.
It was
It's
head on.
possible. At the time of the crash, the woman inside the SUV was performing oral sex on the male driver. And this is according to the Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue, who responded to the scene. And I'm sure Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue has seen some crazy
They're
stuff.
experts in oral sex.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. The man appeared to be in pain as officers gathered around him while he laid on his back. The woman, who had her jeans around her ankles, laid face down on the pavement in nothing but her underwear and a white tank top. There were 2 people inside the FedEx truck, but their injuries were minor. Now, the driver of the SUV sustained injuries to his private area due to what was going on at the time of the crash. The driver and passenger were charged with indecency after the crash. And look, y'all, the best thing about this kinky crime is that I actually have an aerial picture of the guy and the woman laying on the ground and the guy laying on the ground after they pulled them out of the vehicle. And it's pretty crazy. So I'm going to put it on the Facebook page and y'all can see it, but it's actually a picture of them right after the incident. But that's pretty kinky. That's pretty kinky, y'all.
Just makes you wonder,
Wait,
are they actually
they're covered, though.
exhausted?
That's not
Are they
fun.
exhausted? Are they injured?
Oh, they're injured. If his wee wee got almost
him,
bit off,
yeah.
he's
Yeah, I
in.
thought we were
But
getting.
her.
I thought we were
But
getting
her.
a bloody penis photo here.
Oh,
we're not getting a bloody penis
God,
photo.
no.
Mike's trying to see.
No, this is just
any
laid out.
comments about how hard she bit down, or just
No comments. No comments. So that
still attached? It was still fully attached.
yes, he's.
Well, remember,
I'm
still
sure it has
attached.
happened.
She nearly bit it off.
I'm sure it has happened somewhere.
Oh, I'm
sometime
sure.
where that same exact kind of thing happened.
So there you go.
Somebody bit all the way through.
So guaranteed, a lot of people who had that on their mind that, that would be something kinky they'd like to try. I don't know if you want to do it after this. FedEx. That is a kinky crime for Wednesday, May 17th, y'all.
Most unfortunate.
Absolutely.
Okay, folks. Well, the Real Life, Real Crime Daily Hollywood team has been on the case for weeks, wanting to bring you this story. And we had to wait for a day that Woody wasn't here so we could actually do it, because he would have tried to overrule me.
I think he would have let this one fly. He likes Yellowstone.
I don't know if he would have let this one fly, but it's flying, Woody. So listen up.
Fly away.
I'm calling this Big Sky Disappearance. And the reason I am is because it looks, folks, like our man, John Dutton, a.k.a. Kevin Costner, may be disappearing from our favorite show, Yellowstone. So, bunch of different rumors have been flying. Has Yellowstone been canceled? Is Kevin Costner exiting? News reports all over the place are suggesting that Costner is leaving the show. The show is set to return later this year. So the first half of season 5 has come out, but the second half of season 5 is yet to shoot and is supposed to be shooting to come out later this year. Reports have been that, there have been issues behind the scenes. There's been a lot of rumor, but really the essence of what's gone on is that Kevin Costner is producing his own Western project, which is called Horizon. That Costner's production schedule for that movie is in conflict with the production schedule for the rest of Yellowstone season 5. Somehow those two things between Costner's agent, and Taylor Sheridan and Sheridan's people, they've not been able to work this thing out, come to some kind of an agreement. Last thing that I saw was Costner agreeing to limit himself to 1 week of filming to accommodate his role in the back half of season 5 of Yellowstone. And there's just no way that in one day they'd be able to do everything they need to do with them. So they're in a stalemate at this point. So what does it all mean for the show beyond this current season? I mean, contractually, he's got to finish the season, and they're going to figure out some kind of way to finish the season. But does that mean that he's going to be off the show after that, and therefore are they going to have to write some kind of ending in season 5 to the series altogether? Or is there some kind of plot twist that will occur and the show will go on without John Dutton for seasons 6 and 7? Some of the other heavyweights from the show, like Cole Hauser, who plays Rip, and Wes Bentley, who plays Jamie, have both said that Sheridan has said to them that there will, in fact, be a season 6 and a season 7, according to Cole Hauser. But everything seems to be a little bit up in the air right now. Deadline reported last week that Sheridan intends to end the series in its current form, that being season 5, and relocate some of the cast to a new spinoff that would star Matthew McConaughey, allowing the Dutton saga to continue without Costner. Of course, nothing's set in stone, but given the wild success of not only Yellowstone, but 1883, 1923 as well.
Great movie or show series.
Those of you that have watched Yellowstone have probably watched both 1883 and 1923.
1923 is amazing.
So, the studio has more flexibility and isn't as dependent on Yellowstone maybe as they used to be. Big question. Look, I'm a Costner, not a McConaughey, and so from my end, it's no. Figure out a way to make this work with Costner. You're a miracle worker, Sheridan. You're the MVP of Hollywood for the last 24, 36 months. Figure out a way to save your guy and bring him in here. I know a lot of people are. I'm not against McConaughey, but I don't know. Maybe the women will vote in favor of McConaughey. I know Costner's getting on a little bit in years, but let us know what you think. Would you rather see the show go on and work things out with Kevin Costner and Yellowstone continue as is, or would you rather see McConaughey brought in and a new spinoff for subsequent seasons with Matthew McConaughey at the helm? Tiffany is a big fan of Yellowstone. Tiffany?
I am. I just think that maybe if they do, like you say, a spinoff, but first you have to come to the end of John Dutton. You can't just have someone else come in there and be John Dutton. It's not going to be the same.
Yeah, no, they won't do that. They're not talking about doing that. But look, I think that Beth has kind of stolen the show the last two seasons or so, and has built a very, very large and loyal fan base, and there are others as well. I mean, the show is much more than just Costner. I mean, he's obviously the patriarch and leader, but I think the show will make the pivot regardless successfully. It's a matter of whether they can get him to stay, and I think it would be great if he did. And
look, I'll just say this. I think that the writing has been terrible for this last season of Yellowstone. I think a lot of you females out there would agree with me. I know a lot of former Yellowstone fans that didn't even watch the last season. I think where they messed up.
Most highest viewed of all seasons. Highest ratings of all seasons.
I'm just saying. They turned Rip into a wuss.
Highest rated.
They screwed up when they did that.
Highest rated of all seasons.
I don't think they necessarily made him a wuss. I think that they gave it more of a woman's
They turned
view.
him into a wuss.
No.
Rip's a wuss. I'd whip his ass.
I guarantee he'll give you a run for your money and take you straight to the train station.
Bring it, Rip.
I can't
Bring
say
you
it bad.
straight.
Bring it,
You want to
Rip.
see writing?
Look,
You want to see writing destroy a
1923.
story, a series? Look at what they did to Ted Lasso this season versus the others. It is unwatchable. That's when writing's just. And by the way, the writers are on strike, and so it's a major problem moving forward for a lot of series. Sorry, we've taken a large Hollywood turn.
That's all right. We really have. But this
episode.
is interesting banner, because I'll tell you this, on 1923, which is an amazingly written show, they have a guy on that show that they're basically turning into a better version of Rip that the female population is going nuts over. So if you have not watched 1923, you can Google it. Check out the guy that plays the big game hunter on that show. And, Tiffany, you don't count. You have horrible taste, Tiffany.
What?
Give me Sheridan a
Trust
little bit
me.
more in Yellowstone. I will take him all day.
Yeah, but we're not talking about. I'm just saying that they're basically doing a good job with this guy. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on
Look,
it.
this guy single-handedly put this network on the map.
Oh, he's a genius. He's a genius.
Made
Love
them
Taylor Sheridan.
so much money. But and all 3 series were great. But I didn't think the writing was, and I didn't take him as what did you call him?
A wuss.
Cole Hauser is now a wuss.
He's a wuss.
Poor Rip.
I
don't believe that, Rip. Ted Lasso is now a wuss.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of an LSU Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdowns scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Professionals spend nearly half the work week on written communication, so focus is important. With Grammarly as your AI writing partner, focus and quickly get through your work with relevant, real-time suggestions. And it works across 500,000 apps and websites, so you can sound more confident and persuasive wherever you write. 93% of professionals report that Grammarly helps them get more work done. Download Grammarly for free at grammarly.com/podcast. That's grammarly.com/podcast.
Coming out of West Virginia, there's been 3 charged in connection with twin toddlers padlocked in a feces-covered room, fed ground beef under the door.
Oh, my God.
I mean, this is just
disturbing.
Very disturbing. A West Virginia mother, her husband, and her boyfriend all have been arrested, charged with locking 2-year-old twins in a feces-covered bedroom, feeding them ground beef and Cheerios under the door. Sheriff Ross Mellinger on May 8th announced at press conference that officers responded to a report of an unresponsive 2-year-old boy at an apartment in the Ripley area. The boy was eventually airlifted to the hospital. Medical staff determined the boy was suffering from renal failure and was in the state of severe malnutrition and dehydration, with sheriffs saying that this was a dire situation. I mean, could you imagine going on a scene and finding this, not one, but 2-year-old boys in this situation? Investigators determined 21-year-old Lily Gilwater and her boyfriend Brian Casto, 22, and her husband Michael Gillenwater, 24, locked the victim and his twin brother in a bedroom with a padlock for as long as 6 weeks at a time.
Did you say boyfriend and husband?
Yeah, it is boyfriend and husband.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I didn't stumble on that at all. It's
going on.
It's West Virginia.
It's a boyfriend, a husband, and a wife?
Yeah.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
That could have been a kinky crime. Go ahead.
Could have been. I don't know. This just gets worse and worse. So in a bedroom with a padlock for as long as 6 weeks at a time, the 3 suspects were medicating the twin boys to get them to sleep so they didn't have to provide parental care.
Oh, disgusting people, man.
Could have had something to do with whatever else they were doing.
You think?
Very sad situation. The boys would often be only wearing a diaper and were fed pieces of ground beef and Cheerios under the door. The neglect got so bad that one of the twins lost consciousness at some point, and I'm guessing that's whenever they had to seek medical attention, and that's when the cops had to run into and...
That is so awful.
Well, and they said that he was experiencing renal failure. So it was probably consuming feces.
They didn't say if the ground beef was cooked or uncooked. I mean, you think dehydration.
Usually when you say ground beef, it's uncooked.
Yeah.
I mean, like why you'd say hamburger or something if it were cooked. That's just disgusting. And what an awful story coming out of West Virginia, Mike.
I just can't even fathom. I mean, they're very, very young, obviously. Were drugs involved in any of this? These drug addicts?
I'm sure.
They didn't say.
I'm going to take a leap and say, yeah, they definitely were on drugs.
The boy survived, right? Or do we know if the boy survived?
From what I have read and seen, he has survived. It just makes you wonder, since one of them lost consciousness, if maybe they were fighting for what was put under the door for them to eat, and, it was survival of the fittest between the two twins.
It's just disgusting. Just an awful story.
Well, obviously, those kids will be taken away and hopefully fined. We often hear about creative places for drug smugglers to hide drugs, right? Under seats inside of the doors of cars, all numbers of places to be able to avoid them being detected during a search. There's a couple that tried something pretty unique. They ever see those fake pregnancy bellies that actresses who aren't pregnant or are playing roles where they have to be pregnant wear? Mm-hmm. Well,
I've worn them.
Have you worn them? Last time you really pretended you were pregnant for something? Yeah. Well, they decided, which I actually think was the front end of this is pretty brilliant, relatively speaking, to come up with a way that you are going to be able to smuggle drugs. Their method was to put one of these fake pregnant bellies on the woman and to stuff it full of cocaine in this particular case. So they were hiding cocaine behind a fake pregnant belly, but that proved to be futile when the pair couldn't agree on a due date. So they get pulled over. Cops are questioning them, and they're questioning them separately. And the cops detect immediately that something is off here. These two idiots thought so long and hard about developing this narrative of her as the pregnant woman that they failed to consider the kinds of questions that might get asked of them based upon being pregnant, like, are you having a boy or a girl? How far along are you? What hospital are you going to? All of those things should have been considerations for these guys before they embarked on their smuggling. Instead, when the deputies started asking questions, they got inconsistent answers from the two. And the question that ultimately flipped them was when the baby was expected, which you would have thought would have been, okay, if you're asked, you're due on May 15th. Well, they got tripped up over that. The woman began to get nervous. She got so nervous that she just freaked out and ran.
Wow. As
she did, cocaine flew out from under the rubber stomach she was wearing.
Right.
The sheriff's office said the two had taped a large amount of drugs behind the fake belly. More than 1,500 grams of cocaine were found during the stop, according to deputies. We have a nice picture of the fake belly that we will post for you guys. Deputies first pulled over Anthony Miller and Samika Mitchum during a proactive patrol on Interstate 85. This is in Anderson, South Carolina, and apparently this is a pretty major drug route, smuggling route. And so they were specifically on the lookout for people transporting drugs. And so this was a random pullover, and presumably the cops thought it would be nothing, and they would let them go on their way, and they would wait and make their next random stop. And the very difficult question of when is your due date sent our mother with her 1,500 babies of cocaine nuts, and she ran off, and their plot was foiled.
Not a bad plan, though. I mean, had they had a few of those questions in their head earlier than that, hey, man, that's a good place to hide
really
some
stuff.
stuff.
Really good hiding
I
place.
think that's
Good plan. Just, have a couple of questions,
That's right.
Consider what you're going to be asked.
Sync up. They stole what? Give me a they stole what, Tiffany?
They stole what?
Oh, there you go. That's
Come
right.
on, Tiff, you can do better than that. Give us a better they stole what?
They stole what?
They stole what?
They stole what?
What?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Look, y'all, we getting Tiffany ready to go over here. All right, so how about condoms and Slim Jims? Mike, you know what Slim Jims are? They have those.
I do.
I'll be darned. All right, a Milwaukee woman stole condoms, Slim Jims, and more from a Walmart in Milwaukee, a crime she admitted to. Daniel Snyder of Milwaukee faces 1 count of misdemeanor retail theft and 1 count of obstruction of an officer. This past week, investigators responded to the shoplifting complaint. Miss Snyder was found running from the Walmart through the Jiffy Lube parking lot. A loss prevention officer advised that Snyder was seen concealing items in a purse after making a no-receipt return, and she got a $50 Walmart gift card for that. She walked out of the store with the merchandise in her purse without paying for the items. The loss prevention officer confronted her outside the store, and she ran. But the loss prevention officer was able to grab the purse as she ran off. Snyder then returned for the purse before running towards the Jiffy Lube. Snyder admitted she was a heroin addict and had used methadone that morning. And she added that she went to Walmart to steal things to sell to throw her son a birthday party. Now, the following items were found in her purse, and they were valued at more than $450. 9 packs of Slim Jims, the twin packs, by the way, if you're curious. 4 natural condoms. Natural. She wanted to make sure it felt real, Mike. 6 Reese's king size candy bars.
Wait, what did you call those? Reese's?
Reese's.
Reese's?
Reese's.
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 I've
Reese's?
heard that people down here
I call them
Reese's.
Reese's.
It's Reese's.
What do
Really?
you call them?
What do you call them?
They're Reese's.
Oh, Reese's.
Go to Hershey, Pennsylvania. They're Reese's. You guys call them Reese's? That
Let me
sounds
get
like
back to my
feces.
story. 1 Trojan pack of condoms. Miscellaneous clearance condoms. Clearance.
Wait.
That's right. I just said it. Clearance condoms. And if you're someone that buys clearance condoms, God help you. God help you.
Okay.
Welcome to parenthood.
Yeah. Clearance condoms. I wouldn't trust those.
Pardon my ignorance. What the hell are clearance condoms?
They're condoms on the clearance shelf. Like they're expired condoms.
Clearance.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would imagine the lubrication in them is probably all sticky and
That was a
stuff.
brand or
Yeah, no. They're just
somebody
on
who
the
wanted to
clearance.
give a perfectly clear view of their package could use the clear. It's kind of, I didn't know.
Yeah,
In Woody's terms, Mike's money doesn't understand clearance.
that's right. That's right. He don't shop in clearance when you're rich. Miscellaneous jewelry. 6 Snickers candy bars. 5 pairs of sunglasses. 5 Bic lighters. 2 packs of shoelaces. And 1 black purse with the tag still on it. So she had.
She had a
Oh, I'm not
smorgasbord.
done.
Oh,
She also had a blue bandana, 1 bra, a thong, and 1 shape up booty package. What is a shape up booty package, Tiff?
It lifts up your butt, I
Oh,
think.
okay. Well, she had that. So
shape of.
that's right. That's
Well, she
right.
liked her chocolate,
So she
she got
stole.
the Reese's and she's got the Snickers going.
That's right.
She loved her
And
Slim
her
Jims.
clearance condoms were
9
not
packs
bad
of
either.
Slim Jims.
And it's good to know during her shopping spree for her son's birthday that she thought about her heroin addiction, because it's probably what those shoelaces and blue bandana was for.
Wow, what's that going to do for it?
Well, if heroin addicts, they're going to use the shoelace to tie off their arm to where they can let it go and let the release
And what's
in.
the bandana going to do?
Same thing. You can use it as a tying mechanism.
Okay.
There you go,
But it's
Tiffany.
just
There you
sad.
go. There you go.
It's just sad.
Okay.
There you go. So that
I don't have the
is-
uses for 5 pairs of sunglasses, though.
Yeah.
Maybe those were the gifts for the kids at the party.
Try to hide the high, but it's good that she got the twin pack of the Slim Jims, because it probably included cheese. You know, she was thinking healthy, making
That's
healthy
right.
choices.
That's right. So there you go. They stole what? Give it to us one more time, Tim.
They stole what?
There
That's
you go.
That's
There
it.
you go.
Very good, Tiffany. And that is They Stole What for May 17th. A clerk in Massachusetts has gotten in a little trouble, Mike, because she tried to cash in a $3 million lottery ticket that a customer left behind. Yeah, 23 years old. This liquor store clerk was indicted Friday on charges that she schemed to steal a winning lottery ticket worth $3 million and cash it in at the Massachusetts Lottery headquarters. Carly Nunes was indicted by a grand jury on charges of larceny from a building, attempted larceny, presentation of a false claim, and witness intimidation. Nunes' indictment comes after a 4-month investigation that involved a thorough review, video surveillance footage, and witness interviews. On January 17th of 2023, the victim in this case is said to have entered the Savas Liquors and purchased a bag of barbecue potato chips and 2 Quick Picks for the Mega Millions lottery and 2 mass cash lottery tickets. The man added a multiplier to his Mega Million ticket to increase the jackpot prize. Nunes, the checkout counter clerk, inputted the order in the lottery terminal and printed the 2 lottery tickets. Nunes then returned to the cash register and rang up the man's order, which totaled about $12. The victim left the store with his bag of chips, but he forgot all the lottery tickets. That same evening, the victim, identical numbers were announced as the winner in the Mega Millions drawing. The victim then briefly searched for his tickets. He just wanted to check his numbers. He didn't have them memorized, but concluded they were lost, and it was like, probably didn't win anything anyway, right? 2 days later, a coworker drove Nunes and her boyfriend to the Massachusetts Lottery headquarters to redeem the prize. The coworker was also indicted on a charge of attempted extortion in connection with the scheme. So basically what likely had happened was Nunes goes and she calls her coworker and says, "Oh, I got this ticket," but she told him the deal. See, she told him, "I didn't actually pay for this lottery ticket. A customer left it behind. Can you believe that?" And then this person probably told Nunes, "Well, you got to give me like 500,000 of it or I'm going to tell on you." So he's extorting Nunes for a stolen lottery ticket. So he also got in trouble. But that's crazy.
Well, I have a couple of questions. One, what is if I go and buy something in a store and I forget my the Tide I bought at the checkout counter, but then I don't ever remember and I never go back for that thing of Tide. At what point, what's the statute of limitation? At what point does that Tide belong back to Walmart and not me?
Yeah, so here's the thing. When you do, and only my years in retail can answer this question, but you do an inventory every year. And that inventory, you would become short or you would be over. And I used to have conversations with the owner of my company because we might be over, in my world it was paint, we might be over 4 gallons of paint. And he would be very concerned about that. And I would say, well, at least we're not short. And he's like, "Jim, being over is just as bad as being short, because either you shorted a customer and didn't give her all their paint, or somebody's stealing and there's something going on and they're manipulating the inventory somehow. Those were really the two things, because if everything was equal, you would be exactly balanced on your inventory. So in this situation, let's say the scenario you just gave, well, you're going to be over at the end of the year. That's just as much of a problem. So it would belong back to the store. Yeah, so I
kind of don't see where it's a problem for the store.
Well, it's a problem because the customer got screwed.
Well, I understand that, except the customer, whatever, it slipped their
mind.
I mean,
it wasn't out of...
They got hit by a bus a block away after that. Who the heck knows? Well, maybe a better one is somehow you find a bag of cash, and you bring the bag of cash to the police. Hey, I found this bag of cash. Here's where I found it. I think there's a law where it can become yours. I think there's a time period, which once it elapses, it would become yours if nobody comes to claim it. Now, this is different because there's a record of that particular lottery ticket to that particular person because they used the machine and bought. Now, if he had just paid cash for that,
there'd be no way to track it.
For that ticket, there'd be no way to track it. Right.
I wonder also, Michael, you brought up the cash thing. They could still track it from surveillance. So I would imagine on a $3 million prize, they want to see everything because they know the time the ticket was bought. So I would imagine they would want to see the surveillance of the person actually buying the ticket.
Oh, that's interesting that the lottery's process is that thorough that if you've got a ticket, they can track that ticket to the store location and time of sale and expect video. But a lot of places don't have the video.
I would imagine convenience stores do.
Be interesting to see.
I'd be surprised.
Have to look into that. Sorry, folks, we're trying to diagnose this crime situation in real time here.
But at any rate, she didn't get the $3 million.
She did not. Magic banjos are back, which means another segment of Dumb Criminals.
We all know what that means. It's our favorite segment of the week.
Well, Woody yelled at me for not saying what it was last week, so now I'm saying what it is. I know you all know what banjos mean. It means that something stupid like a man fighting off a burglary suspect who entered his house with his wife inside. Well, that doesn't necessarily make him dumb. Let's find out what does. A Cleveland man fought off a burglar who entered his home while his wife was alone inside Friday after the husband helped the suspect with car trouble. I believe I saw this one. I've never had a problem the entire time I've been here, said Verdi Adams. My wife woke up the last couple nights screaming. According to a police report, Kalis Ricardo Miller, age 45, was arrested and booked in the Cuyahoga County Jail on aggravated burglary charges that same day. Verdi Adams told police that the suspect knocked on the couple's door around 9:30 a.m., claiming he needed help jumping his car. Angela Adams, Verdi's wife, told the man that her husband wasn't home, but that she would let him know about the situation when he returned. That's according to police. Verdi Adams told police he helped Miller when he arrived home, but hours later, Miller came back to the home and started banging on the door. He insisted that his vehicle still needed work. When Verdi Adams went outside to help, Miller went inside the house, locked the door, according to the victims, and locked the door, according to the victims. Angela Adams was still inside when Miller started walking upstairs where she was located. Verdi Adams said he kicked the door in and started fighting with the suspect, eventually getting him out of the house. Portions of the altercation are visible on surveillance footage. I saw that surveillance footage. Miller was arrested later that day. He's due in court on Thursday. We're going to post that video for you. But, okay, so your MO is you do this fake I need help with my car thing. The husband actually comes and helps you with your car thing, so much so that you're able to drive away in your car. You decide, I kind of like that wife, so I'm going to drive back later, tell them that my car still needs work. I'm going to leave the husband outside working on my car while I go in the house, shut the door behind me, and go upstairs to presumably rape or do something else to his wife. Yeah, that's dumb criminal. That's sick criminal. That I don't even.
And I'll tell you what, I saw the video of that actual incident, and that guy beat the crap out of the guy
they both fell
going
down
up the stairs.
Yeah, they both took a fall.
He ended up on top. Let's just say that. So maybe we'll post that video on the page. All right, so it is this day in crime for May 17th. And your favorite president, Mike, Bill Clinton, signs into law.
Better president than he gets credit for.
Signs into law a strengthening of the Sex Offender Notification Act that would, going forward, require neighborhood notification when sex offenders move in. And actually a great law that he signed in, where if you have a sex offender in your general radius of your neighborhood, you get a mailer that tells you that they're there.
And is it true that his was the very first mailer to go out when he moved into that Chappaqua neighborhood, that the neighbors got that that notice about Bill? No, that didn't happen. That wasn't part of that law.
I don't think it was. 2013, $1 million worth of jewelry meant for use by celebrities at the 2013 Cannes Film Festival is stolen from a hotel room in Cannes. How about that? I heard it was all J-Lo's.
Not a place. There's so much money there, and there's so much money there during that week that all Hollywood is there. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, so
I've not been there, folks. These are reports from friends.
Apparently jewelry thieves know about that, but that is today in true crime history. All right, we come to another sad end of our show. Thank you, Tiffany, for filling in
Thanks
today.
for stepping in, Tiff.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Tiffany Seagard.
And I'm Mike Agovino.
For Real Life, Real Crime Daily, peace.
Schabusiness.
Build up to Black Friday with savings all month long at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select major appliances, plus take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to pick up holiday inflatables under $20. Don't wait to save, in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.